How do you do, ladies and gentlemen? What's the real truth about Citizen Kane?
It'll probably turn out to be a very simple thing.
Hi, everyone. Hope you're doing well. I'm Parker.
I'm Max. Parker is a man of some acquaintance to me.
And welcome back to another episode of Better Than Citizen Kane, the highly subjective show. We look at a movie and ask that titular question. Because what every movie ever made is a reasonable contender for the title of greatest film of all time. You have to wonder, better than Citizen Kane.
After all, this thing we call greatest film of all time is ultimately nothing but a facade. Folks, this week, Parker's shown up at my door asking for quite the favor. Little does he know that Will showed up a few weeks ago asking the exact same thing, so we'll see how this goes. But of course, before all that, we simply have to discuss the number one movie on Letterboxd. Scrolling over to read the rest of my copy here.
They don't know what the greatest number one movie on Letterboxd is.
Masaki Kobayashi's Seppuku, a.k.a. Harakiri, from 1962.
Wow. This intro has horrifying implications for Will.
I don't know. Maybe it went differently for him, Parker.
Maybe it was different.
Have you considered that Will would have acted differently in that situation and come out on top?
You know, that's a great point.
You think they'd catch Will slacking?
I've never caught him
Which
slacking.
is clearly what they did with...
Yeah, obviously.
Oh, dear.
It was a skill issue.
I watched this maybe a little too long ago.
Okay.
But I wasn't sure. I'm working crazy hours right now, everybody.
Yes.
So everyone bear with me.
Yes.
I knocked this out before things got hectic at work. Because I wasn't sure if I was going to have the chance to watch it. And I made the right choice because I wouldn't have had time to watch it.
Sure.
But man, am I like, that was a bit ago. So if I get anything wrong,
that's why
no one come after me. That's why Parker's here. That's why there's two people on the podcast.
Keep him in line.
Parker's here to get things right. Okay? I'm here as a function of the contract we signed with the devil 4 years ago.
Right, yes.
As much as Parker would love to do this show with anyone else, he can't ever. It's only
stuck.
Me.
There's nothing I can do.
And I wish I could take a nap. No,
really.
I'm genuinely, and I texted you about this. I'm very excited to be here.
Yes.
Because I'm excited to talk about this movie that neither of us had ever seen before.
No, had not seen this before.
I didn't even really know anything about this.
Yeah, I knew it was a samurai film. That's really the extent of what I knew about this. You know? But
yeah, if and the thing is, like, I didn't even know what the title meant. Because I believe the Japanese term is, well, I don't know, but I believe the Japanese term is seppuku, is it not?
I believe so.
That's the term that I have known that as for however long I've known what that is.
Sure.
And if it had been called that, then I would have had a much stronger inkling. So in some ways it worked.
Yeah.
But again, I don't remember. Anyway, whatever. This movie. It's the number one movie on Letterboxd, Parker.
Yes.
That's why we're bringing it to the show.
Right.
Last year we covered 12 Angry Men, which is the number 2 movie on Letterboxd. We're of course referring to the Letterboxd Top 250. 12 Angry Men has far more logs than this movie.
Yes.
But based on how Letterboxd does their little algorithm for the top 250, this has enough logs that it can be in the number 1 spot. And I had not even really heard of it in film school. Had you?
I had heard it mentioned in passing, but it was always in reference specifically to like Kurosawa films. Like that's kind of
interesting.
The very specific Japanese director who gets talked about in film school from this period. And so there are other directors who are caught in his orbit that get discussed, but like, no, this was not one that I like learned much about.
Yeah, like I watched Rashomon in film school because that's like, you know, this is a story that only really film can do in this way, and you know, and maybe one day we'll do Rashomon, but I had just not like, how does this movie end up as number one? I'm not criticizing it or angry about it, but I'm like...
because Kobayashi has number 1, number 2, and number 9 in the 250 on Letterboxd. His The Human Condition Part 3, A Soldier's Prayer, passed 12 Angry Men. So that's number 2 now.
Okay.
And then The Human Condition Part 1, No Greater Love, is number 9. So Letterboxd loves this guy. And I've been I want to watch The Human Condition at some point. It's like a 3-part, like 9-hour epic, you know?
Okay. How many logs does this have on Letterboxd? This is what people come to this episode
this is what people
Breaking down the numbers.
Breaking down the numbers. This has been seen by 254,000 members. It has a 4.7 average rating. Immediately below that, Human Condition Part 3 has a 4.6 average rating and has only been seen by 36,000 people.
Okay.
12 Angry Men, for reference, 4.6 average, has been seen by 1.8 million users. So, yeah, I don't quite understand the weight system of the Letterboxd Top 250 and how that all works. But, yeah, it is fascinating that Kobayashi has 3 in the top 10.
I'm just quickly, and if everyone can hear my mouse, apologies, but...
I'll fully it in for you.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, that's good. Double it. Double it, but one of them is a human performing it, which honestly, love that. Like, correct me if I'm wrong, it's not on the BFI Top 250.
Not that I could find. I did a pass on it like a couple days ago, and I don't remember seeing it.
Like, I am just so curious how this started gaining steam.
Yeah.
What, like, niche film site or YouTuber or, Letterboxd, like, director mentioned this film that like, spurred so many people to, like, log it? Because so its average score is
4.7.
4.7.
It's the only one with 4.7.
And I would agree.
Or at least 4.7 with that many users.
I take no issue with it being highly rated.
Totally.
At all.
It's a great movie. I really enjoyed it.
Spoiler it's just alert. Fascinating, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very, very curious, especially because, like, when doing research on this, it's kind of hard to find stuff about the production of this film online readily available. Like, the main thing that I can think of is, I think, a certain bastion of online film discourse is dictated by the Criterion Collection in a lot of ways, and this is included in the Criterion Collection. So I wonder if that's where it starts getting legs. If people, because the Venn diagram of folks who religiously watch the Criterion Collection and Letterboxd users is a very, very tight overlap. Like, it's just there's a lot of people in there that do that. So that would be my best guess as to kind of where this comes from, because I'd heard of Masaki Kobayashi, but I had not seen any of his films before this. Like, it's just it's one of those that I just did not crossed in my wake. And it's interesting too, because again, like, it feels like he is constantly in conversation with directors of the time who get more quote unquote mainstream coverage. So, like,
right.
Jidai-geki is the term for period film, and like he and Kurosawa are both like, absolute titans of that genre, but Kurosawa obviously holds the main cultural impact there. Additionally, Kobayashi is working at the I'm going to butcher all these pronunciations. I'm trying my best, I promise. Sochiku Ofuna Studio, which is where Yasuhiro Ozu is working at this exact same time. And that studio is known for its very stripped down realism everyday struggle, which is like Ozu's bread and butter, right? So then
Right.
Kobayashi's a little bit of an outlier within that studio when you look at like the rest of the output there, but is interacting with these people. And so it's interesting just like looking at some of the mainstream great, quote unquote, Japanese directors of the time that get talked about. He's around during this time. He's doing work with these people and in conversation with these people, but his work is not one that I personally had come across or really heard about before this, which is interesting for being the number one on Letterboxd of all places, you know?
Yeah.
Like it's one thing for, we talked about this a little bit with Jean Diamant, with like stuff like the BFI list, you're kind of expecting that to be a little more esoteric, a little bit more underground, and like, okay, these are like capital A art house films that maybe people haven't heard about, but like are discussed in these particular circles. But Letterboxd is a very like populist film app, it's very much recency bias feels wrong, but like it people are involved in that conversation, and like the second something comes out, it's a lot of new movies, it's a lot of movies people talk about, and this is one that just it's fascinating that it's the top of that heap.
It doesn't feel populist in its elevation to that spot, right? Mm-hmm. Like that's the thing. Like we talked about this on our 12 Angry Men episode. Of like 12 Angry Men is like the most accessible masterpiece of all time. Yeah. Anyone can watch that movie and see why it's impressive and also be like moved by it and like gripped by it. And it'll be like, wow, this is a black and white movie in one room. Mm-hmm. And they made it so fascinating. Like it's the easiest way to show people what really great filmmaking can do. That is like the definition of like a populist masterpiece. Everyone can watch this and love this. And now it's 3 behind the second part of A Human Condition. Mm-hmm. Which is, I did not realize was also Kobayashi.
Yeah.
That's so interesting. But like this being number 1, like, yeah, like I do feel like there is an element of populism, and I can't say, I use that word as if I know definitively what that means politically. Sure. What I mean is like a popular film.
Yes.
Like there is an element of this being popular with like general audiences, in the sense that I feel like any dad could watch this and be like, that was pretty good.
Yeah.
Like it feels like that. But it's just so interesting because this does feel like kind of what people, what a normal person on Letterboxd would complain about. Yeah. Right? The people on Letterboxd who go, I don't see why Wicked for Good didn't get any nominations. Like those kinds of people. And it's not a group that I'm angry at, but like they would look at this and be like, well, this is a pretentious film opinion to have, right? Mm-hmm. That's what I'm getting at here. Is like, this is the kind of movie that people go like, well, but why is it number 1? It's black and white.
It's a foreign language film.
Right. They go, well, and like no one, but even if you get into like that second layer that we've been talking about so far, it's like, this guy isn't really talked about as much as like his peers at the time. Mm-hmm. Like, it's just so interesting that it's number 1 on Letterboxd. Like it's like this last, and then we'll move on from this, but it's this last element to the app, because people are like, oh, now anyone's on Letterboxd. I'm sure there's people out there who've been on since like 2012 who are like, ugh,
Sure.
14 years ago it was people who actually wanted to talk about film. Now it's just people who want to make a funny quip. Mm-hmm. This feels like a movie that started with those guys.
Yeah.
But now, because it's number 1, more people are watching it, maybe?
I think so, like that's the thing, is that like
which is a testament to what Letterboxd is for.
Totally.
Right? Like Letterboxd is an app that encourages people to watch movies that they wouldn't otherwise watch because they're highly rated and they see people ranking it that high, right? Like that is
absolutely.
That is the biggest impact that app can have, is like, everyone look at this movie.
Yeah.
That you maybe have never heard of that is really highly rated.
Well,
anyway,
sorry. The last thing I will say about the Letterboxd, then we'll move on. I promise there's more to this episode, but like, it's interesting doing, like, just taking a look at a quick rundown of the top 10 are number 1, Harakiri, number 2, The Human Condition Part 3, A Soldier's Prayer, number 3, 12 Angry Men, number 4, Come and See, number 5, 7 Samurai, number 6, High and Low, number 7, The Godfather Part 2, number 8, The Shawshank Redemption, number 9, The Human Condition Part 1, No Greater Love, number 10, City of God. And so it's interesting looking at that list because it is a weird cross-section of like very capital F film tastes. And then like the IMDb top 100, right? Like Shawshank and Godfather and City of God are all here.
Yeah.
And that's...
Which is like what you expect from...
Yeah.
You know, if you're asking just like a general selection of people who watch movies on the internet, it's like, yeah, those will rise to the top.
Yeah.
But then you have... What was the fourth one? What was number 4?
Number 4 was... Come and See.
Come and See is an example of a movie that I think has been boosted by the Letterboxd effect.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, like that is a movie that like isn't on like that fully isn't that's not on the BFI Sight and Sound. Maybe it is.
I don't.
I wish there was an easier way to search that list.
I know, it's such a pain.
But my point is like that's not a movie that you like hear from a lot of people. Oh, that's one of the greatest movies of all time.
Yeah.
However, I think through Letterboxd, and maybe I'm wrong here, through Letterboxd, I feel like that has gained a wider audience and feels similar to Harakiri in that way.
Yeah.
One other thing I want to say about this is Harakiri entered the Criterion in 2005. And let's see, what else did I have here? The Criterion site. Like it clearly made the jump to Blu-ray. Yeah, I don't know. I was like, maybe it like entered more recently.
Yeah, right?
But
like
it entered in 2005, so that didn't really give it a boost either. So it's just, again, no complaints from me.
No.
Great movie. I'm just a little curious how its reputation precedes it, you know?
Yeah.
And like how... It's fascinating. Anyway.
In answer to your question, Come and See is not on the Sight and Sound 2022, nor is
Right.
Harakiri. So.
Right. These are the Letterboxd darlings.
Yes.
That
absolutely.
are like they're here. They're in the top 10 of all movies of all time here. Interesting. It's interesting.
It is interesting. Yeah, wild stuff.
Wild stuff. That being said, we both watched this for the first time. You know, I had no idea what to expect. And I was thrilled by the structure that came out of this. Like, truly was like, oh, okay. Like, had that feeling like twice. Yeah. Of like, oh, interesting. We don't really have a history we can talk about here with this film. I know clearly we both just had it on our watch lists because it was so high on the Letterboxd list. Yeah. But, I mean, like, general thoughts, Parker. What did you think of this?
I really, really enjoyed this. Like, similar to you, it was one of those things that I was very impressed by just the presentation of the whole thing, right? Because, again, not knowing where this is going or how it was going to come together, you start drawing on the experience that you have, right? So, like, that opening shot with the samurai armor, my brain immediately starts going to stuff like Onibaba and Kuroneko. And I was like, okay, is this supernatural? Is this going to be like, is it a ghost story of some kind? It doesn't end up going that direction, but like that, it plays around with so much of like mythic imagery throughout the whole thing, which I love. Like, we'll get to it, obviously, but like the sword duel in the field is just unreal to look at. Like, you're just looking at that sky and the wind whipping through the grass, and you're just like, there's a real place that looks like that? Like, that's crazy, you know?
Yeah. I mean, just from the opening for me, like, you know, we get the armor, and then, you know, we get the opening narration of, like, it was 10 a.m. On a Thursday.
It's like a police 16:30.
Yeah. And it's like this cold open of like, it's 1630, Ito, and I love how modern the intro felt for me in that way, because they have this cold open and then it goes into the like title sequence, which is that's where we see the armor for the first time, right? Is as part of the title sequence, or did we see it before that? Yeah. And even just like the titles, like I was like, this feels immensely modern to me, like just in its style, and it immediately just looks gorgeous. Yeah. Like cinematography on this is absolutely stunning. And I just was kind of floored by it immediately and drawn in by it, cinematography by Yoshio Miyajima. I mean, it definitely is playing with that imagery. I mean, to the point that it is kind of, it's interesting. Oh, see, I just want to dive into the, to the ending. But basically, the opening premise of this is that a Ronin, which is to say a samurai without a job, right? That's what a Ronin is,
unemployed,
right?
samurai.
An unemployed samurai. Sugumo Hanshiro arrives at the estate of the Ii clan and says that he wishes to commit seppuku within the courtyard of the palace. So he wants to die with honor. He's like, I've been roaming for a year or so since my previous employment fell.
As my house collapsed.
The house fell. And so they kind of bring him in, and the senior counselor is like, hey, I'm going to tell you the story of the last guy who, like, in January, he's like, in January, this guy came in and he had the same request as you.
Was from the same place.
Yeah, it was from the same place and asked for the same thing. And I love how we ease into this, right? Because as you're watching this, I'm curious to hear your thoughts. Like, because at first, before they bring him in, they go, oh, he's saying he wants to do this. And the first reaction from, I believe, it's not, no, it is Saito, right? It's the senior counselor who's like the first words out of his mouth are like, oh, when will they stop?
Yeah.
Right? Like, basically, he's like, when will they stop doing this?
Yeah.
And then he's like, okay, bring him in. And then he starts telling him the story, and we do like the first section of it, right? Of like, oh, he came in, he asked the same thing. And then we come back, because I was like, okay, is this like fully just framing device into the story? Like, I was like, how long are we going to be in the story for? Well, we come back, and he's like, believe me. Like,
he's like, what do you think of that? And he's like, hey, you don't have to worry about me, man. He's like, I want to be dead. Like,
don't believe me. I want to be dead. I really do.
And he looks like he wants to be dead.
He
right?
does.
Like, that's,
Sugumo's looking rough.
Yeah, when we're looking back and forth between these two, the two Ronin being depicted, like, Hanshiro looks like death. He just looks so defeated. Whereas when we go back with Motome, like, he's very young. He's much younger looking, and he seems much more nervous and less resolved, which is kind of, the point of what's being told to us, right?
Yeah, but I love, and then I want to hear your thoughts on this, but like the second beat of this moment where Saito's like, let me tell you a little more of this guy's story.
Like, let me keep going.
He's like, okay, you're not really getting this.
Yeah.
Here's what happened after that. But like, what are you thinking when you're watching this first little section?
It's so interesting because immediately my brain is trying to figure out where it's going, right? Like, okay, what is the purpose of this? Because in something like Rashomon, it is being used to depict unreliable narrators. It is showing us different perspectives on the same event, which is something that, you and I have talked about, our love of Rian Johnson, taking that and using a ton in his work, right? The subjectivity of memory. And so I'm sitting here being like, okay, how much of this actually happened? How much of this is actually truth? And we come to find out that it's 1-to-1. This is exactly what went down. And that was surprising when we got there. But I am sitting there the whole time trying to think of like, okay, what is the direction this is taking? Why is this being told to us? And it's not until we get out into the courtyard, I think, with Hanshiro, after he's been, because he hears the rest of this story, and he hears about what happened to Motome, of they decide that, okay, this guy is clearly trying to scam us. he has no intention of killing himself. Look, his swords are even made of bamboo. Like, this guy, of course he's not going to kill himself. He wants to rip us off. He's here to get money. Because that's what's been going on, is that there's a whole slew of Ronin just wandering the countryside.
Right.
And
because this takes place after the government has basically...
Yeah, there's a new shogunate.
Right.
The new shogunate is, like, just kind of cracking down on the warlords and wiping, like, cleaning slate and getting rid of a lot of the houses.
Which is such a... I mean, I'm not well-versed in samurai film, but I immediately found that to be such an interesting setup for the movie of, like, the age of samurai is ending at this time. Like, this is a moment where it's like that is kind of over because of the new shogunate. And, like, to have this idea, this notion of, like, now we just have all these guys.
Yeah, they're just and, like, it's interesting because Kobayashi talks about how, like, a huge theme of his entire body of work is this idea of, like, examining tradition and authority and when to defy that, whether that be feudal or contemporary. And he talks about, he says, quote, "In any era, I am critical of authoritarian power. In the human condition, it took the form of militaristic power. In Harakiri, it is feudalism. They pose the same moral conflict in terms of the struggle of the individual against society." And what's interesting is that, like, during this time period, the Criterion essay on the film by Joan Mellon is really good. And she talks about how, like, audiences at the time would be trusted to have a very deep historical knowledge of this period, right? And could very easily see the parallels being drawn. And that is, it's very intentional on the part of the filmmakers. And looking at specifically, they talk about how, like, this feels very modern in that way, because you have these huge conglomerate corporations in the 50s and 60s, which are essentially bringing back feudalism with their employees of the way this is working. And so all of that is feeling very timely for an audience, a contemporary audience for this film, right? Which is just something interesting that I hadn't really thought about before. But anyway, you've got all this going on with the Ronins, and there's one guy who tries this. One guy says, "Hey, can I use your courtyard to commit harakiri?" And they're so impressed by his resolve that they give him a job. And suddenly every single Ronin is trying to do this. And it's just this huge onslaught that all of the houses are experiencing. And most of them don't want, like, most of them are just really are completely bowled over. And they're just like, fine, here, have some money, go away. Like, they're treating them like stray dogs, you know, just like, please, I don't want to deal with you. Whereas the E clan is not having it. The IE?
No.
They're just, they're like, we are traditional. We are founded on samurai militaristic honor. If you're gonna come here and say you're gonna do this, we're gonna make sure you do it, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. So, like, that's where Motome's the Motome story goes, is, like, the three most senior samurai of the clan meet up. They tell Motome, like, okay, wait for a second. And then they go and talk, and they're like, this fucking guy. They're like, he thinks he can pull one. He thinks he's got to get charity from us. And they're like, no. Yeah. He's gonna have to kill himself with his bamboo swords.
Yep.
And, like, they... and this whole story is being relayed to...
Hanshiro.
To Hanshiro. Almost as, like, a fear monger, as, like, go, like, you don't actually...
Yeah, you leave now while you can.
Yeah, we're giving you an out, because this is us telling you that we make you commit to what you're gonna do. And he keeps being like, no, I'll do it.
He's like, no, I'm gonna do it, actually. And it's so interesting because all the way to this lead up, every time he is presented with pushback, with questioning, he is unrelenting. He is just straightforward down the line. He's like, hey, I'm really sorry that happened, but that's not going to be me. Like, I am going to follow through with this. And Saito is impressed with this. And he says, okay, yeah, let's do it. Let's do it right now. He's like, I'm going to bring all of my guys into the courtyard so they witness this and see your resolve. And it's only when they're in the courtyard and it's going to happen that you start feeling there is something more going on. Because immediately he's like, well, who's going to be my second? He's like, well, this guy over here. He's like, oh, no, actually, like, I was really, really hoping that it would be, Haito. And he's like, oh, Haito's sick. And he's like, oh, really? Really? That's too bad. Well,
I guess then it'll have to be...
Yeah, he goes to these other two guys, and all of them aren't there and have called in sick.
The third one really gets me, because on the second one, he's like, oh, then I guess it would... Like, he plays it pretty naturally. He's like, oh, then I guess it would be this guy. And then he kind of is like, where is that guy? And Saito's like, look, man, I'm sorry, that guy is also out today.
Yep.
And then he's like, third guy? And you watch Saito be like, listen, buddy, I don't know what you did.
It is one of those things of like, it's not quite to this level of like narrative importance, but that moment of seeing Saito kind of straighten up, it felt like the doorbell in Parasite for me. I was like, okay, what's going on? Like, there's a distinct shift of like intention here. Suddenly, everything Hanshiro has been doing is so much more sinister, right? Like, not to the audience, but to...
He's truly doing the meme of, like, I'm not trapped in here with you, you're trapped in here with
like,
me.
It's nuts. And as Saito's walking away, he's like, all three sick on the same day. What a coincidence. And
like,
starts laughing to himself.
Yeah.
It's like, okay.
You know what? It really feels like when the dog is in The Thing. You know, and you're kind of like, something's weird with this dog, guys.
Something's very strange with this. Yeah.
Not to compare him to a dog.
Of course.
Because this man has more honor than the entire Iggy clan, obviously.
Right.
As we know.
But Saito sends one of his dudes. He's like, go figure out what the hell is going on. Because he's like, I don't trust my messenger. He says, like,
because initially, right? Because it's before he even gets to the second guy.
Yeah.
Saito's like, we're gonna send somebody to check on Haito or whatever was that his name.
I don't know which one comes first.
Yeah, but he's like, we're gonna send my messenger to go check. Yeah, we're gonna send my messenger to go check on the first guy. And that's when Hanshiro is like, can I tell you a story?
Yeah, he's like, hey, just to kill some time.
He's like, I think it might be beneficial to all the guys here. Because, what does he say? Is that great line?
He's like, I don't know I don't know how instructional it would be to hear, like, the ramblings of an old man. The pointless ramblings.
He says, like, what befalls me today may be your own fate tomorrow.
Yes.
And Saito kind of laughs about that and is like, yeah.
He's
hey,
like,
everyone listen.
Sure, whatever, man.
Everyone listen. We're going to, let's listen to this man because this man facing his death surely won't be, like,
boring
wasting our time. Like, he's going to have something worth hearing.
Right.
Kind of just, like, playing, but also being like, okay, like, I see what you're doing. Like, let's listen. And he opens with, Motome was an acquaintance to me. Was a man of acquaintance to me.
After he told them he didn't know who he was earlier.
And you see Saito go,
like, all right. Yeah.
Like, okay. And basically the story opens.
Yeah.
And Hanshiro's like, so, like, my mentor, like, my best friend in the world, the guy that I was, like, really close with, died. And that was his son. Right? Is that the relationship?
Yeah. Because the house collapses. The shogun abolishes his clan, so the lord decides to commit harakiri, and as his most senior samurai, Hanshiro plans to do so as well. And to prevent him from doing this, his friend takes his own life instead and says, I will accompany the lord in the afterlife so you don't have to take care of my son.
Right. Yes, that's what it is. Yeah. And it's like, I knew him when he was 11 or like 15. He was 15 when this happened. My daughter was 11. They got along really well. They fell in love. They had a kid. And like, I don't remember how far into the story he gets here.
Yeah.
Before what cuts him off? I can't remember what cuts him off.
I think it's the messenger coming back, isn't it?
Right. Yeah. The messenger comes back and he's like, yeah, the guy says he's really, really
super sick. He won't even let me see him.
Yeah. And that's when he's like, okay, I guess you'll just have to go with our second guy, like our guy. Mm-hmm. He's like, well, what about this guy?
What about this dude?
He's also sick. And that's when we get to the moment of like,
yeah. Because I think he does the next two right after the other. He's like, what about a second guy? He's like, not that dude. He's like, what about a third guy? And he's like, yeah. What the hell are you up to? What's going on? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he comes back and he's like, clearly you are trying to extort us. So you're going to die right now. We're going to kill you right now. And he's like, wait. He's like, look, I want to kill myself. Whether you do that for me or I do it myself, that's fine. All I ask is that you let me finish telling you my story.
Yes.
And he's like, fine, I guess you can do that.
Yeah.
And so Hanshiro keeps going. We get back into the flashback.
Yes. So that's when we get into, again, Motome and Miho, which is Hanshiro's daughter.
Yep.
They get married. They have a son named Kingo.
It's a good name.
Miho becomes ill with tuberculosis.
Yep.
And he, like, Motome, like, is doing everything. He did everything he could to raise money to hire a doctor.
Well, I love this moment that, like, when she gets sick, Hanshiro's talking about how everything just started getting worse after that. And we get this very brief little scene of a bunch of people rushing towards a guy. He's like, I need 40 workers for yada yada, just this is the pay or whatever. And Motome is in that crowd, and the foreman grabs him out. He's like, he's like, you've got 2 swords. You're a samurai. Like, I can't hire you. That's like, this work is beneath you. Get out of here. It's like, you don't understand, like, I don't have any work. But it's just, truly just, you are overqualified for this position.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, everything is terrible. And he comes back, and at this point, Kingo also gets sick. Yeah. Because there's I love this shot where Matome, he like stumbles into Hanshiro's hut, and he's like, what happened? Like, what's going on? He's like, is it Miho? He says, it's Kingo. It's like, oh, yeah. God. Oh, yeah. God. Like, it was bad enough when this was one person, now it's the baby. And
yeah,
it feels so awful. And as they're standing around trying to figure out what to do, Motome is like, hey, I know a money lender. I didn't go to him before. His interest rates are way super high, but, like, I don't know what else to do. And Hanshiro's like, yes, do that. Go to this guy. We need to, because he's like, has there been a doctor here for either of them?
Right.
And they're like, no, like, we sold everything. Like, there's nothing left. And so Motome disappears to go talk to this guy, and he doesn't come back.
Yeah. And
it's a couple days, I think.
It's just later that
Is it
evening.
later that evening?
That's what the summary says here. I feel like it was longer than that, but they clearly, like, he doesn't come back. Mm-hmm. And then that evening, or whenever, Hayato, Umenosuke, and Hikokuro bring home Motome's mutilated body.
God, and they're such dicks about it.
They're such dicks about it.
It's so mean of them to just, like, they feign such respect and piety only to then reveal the bamboo swords. Yeah. And, like, Hanshiro is mortified. And he's like, well, you guys let him borrow a blade, didn't you? He said, no, he honorably died on his own. He's like, and it was a spectacle, man. Like, it was something to see. And it is. Like, we brushed past that.
Oh, my God. Yeah, you're
visceral,
right. Sorry.
Like, that scene with Motome when he
I was so unprepared for the blood.
Yeah.
When it started pouring out of this man.
Mm-hmm.
And he bites his tongue off. Yeah, we completely brushed past that. Honestly, the actor who plays Motome, through all of that story that they tell of, like, the fear in his eyes when
Akira
because
Ashiyama.
he's told that he's going to get to meet, so and so, like
Yeah.
the high general guy, and then instead they bring out like the Harakiri robes, and they're like, oh no, there must have been a misunderstanding. Just playing like psychological games with him, basically.
Yeah, just
right?
torturing this poor guy.
Like he's like, no, I was told I was going to meet this guy, and like the way that I feel like it's Hayato, or it's like one of those. It is one of the one of those three guys, right? Who later brings body home. But he's like, oh, I see what must have happened. He's like, no, you're gonna do, and it's like you're just you're fully
he
playing
begs
with
them.
it.
He's like, look, I'm not gonna welch on my word. Give me 1 or 2 days respite. Like this is a lot for me. I will come back. I promise you I'll come back. And they don't believe him. They said, no, you're going to do this right now or we're going to kill you ourselves.
Yeah.
And so he impales himself on a bamboo blade. And they keep telling him, like,
it takes
he's like,
multiple
kill me.
tries.
Yeah, it's multiple tries. And the whole way this works is that you have to cross-section your belly. And once that's done, your second will chop off your head to end it. Right?
Yes.
And so he stabs himself and he can't get it to cut across. And he turns to his second, he's like, kill me. He's like, please just do it. And he's like, no, you're not done yet. He's like, get it across. And it's torturous. It is so upsetting to watch. And like, really is. It's interesting because when watching this movie at the beginning, and we're hearing this story from Saito, as an audience, when they're discussing what's going on with the Ronin, I'm like, yeah, that does kind of suck that these guys are just like going around extorting people, right? Because again, a lot of samurai media is very critical of samurai, like a lot of the times they are portrayed as just kind of thugs. And so I'm bringing a lot of that into this and I'm like, okay, yeah, like I guess that does really suck. Like that sucks that people are doing that,
Yeah, well, and it's interesting because it's critical of that, and then also it's playing off of us being like, well, you guys are being very disrespectful to this system, this system of tradition and honor that the Ii clan are a part of. Like, you're disrespecting that. Mm-hmm. Like, for me, as like a a white person, an American in the 21st century, I come to this with biases that I've learned from other movies. Like, I don't go into this movie being like, well, I'm going to be critical of the system it portrays.
Right. Yeah, because again, as this is happening, like even like the lead up to this, I don't know about you, but like there's a small part of me before this starts happening where I'm like, yeah, dude, you're fucked. Like you're going to get your comeuppance, dude. Like you tried to pull a fast one and like this is it's tough, but like this is the law. This is the honor code or whatever. And then it starts happening and my brain is like, oh, why are we doing this? Why are we doing this?
Yeah. Do you know what I keep coming back to in my head is the realization, just a few episodes, like 2 episodes ago, we talked about It's a Wonderful Life. Mm-hmm. This is the equivalent of if at the end of the dark part of It's a Wonderful Life, not like the alt world, but like when he goes begging to Mr. Potter, if Mr. Potter was like, kill yourself. And he did.
He did.
Which is basically what happens in that movie.
Yeah.
Not in so many words, but Potter is basically like, you'd be better off dead. He's like, you're right, and he does. Mm-hmm. But if instead of oh, this is cracking me up. If then, like a day, like months later, Uncle Billy showed up to Mr. Potter. Mr. Potter, and was like, I'm in debt. And Mr. Potter's like, well, you're going to have to kill yourself, just like George did. And he's like, no, you idiot. I'm here to kill you.
That's like, hey, I'd watch
it. But that's what this movie's doing, right? And this weird, awful metaphor I've come up with is like, you start the movie and you're like, well, obviously I'm on the side of Mr. Potter. Because they're showing it to you, basically from Mr. Potter's perspective, right? Mm-hmm. If Mr. Potter was like, here's what happened all those months ago, and they show you George Bailey showing up, you'd be like, yeah, fuck this guy. Yeah. He's in shambles. He's like in debt. Like he's tricked you out of business for 30 years. Mm-hmm. Like it's interesting how films can do that.
Yeah, it's perspective bias.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And so, like, coming into this movie, I have perspective bias where I'm like, yeah, I'm with you guys.
Yeah.
And then Motome is cutting himself with a bamboo sword and he can't. And I'm like, this seems really mean, you guys.
Yeah, this feels excessive.
But
right?
we don't, but even then, we still haven't been allowed to fully humanize this man.
Yeah.
And it isn't until, and that's why, like, I'm really excited to rewatch this. Because I think on a second watch, I'm going to be, like, it's probably, because it's 4.5 for both of us.
Yeah.
Just as, like, a quick shorthand of this is how we feel about the movie.
Right.
But I'm like, it might go higher for me on a second. Like, it.
Yeah, it might. It certainly might.
Because going into this, if you know what Hanshiro is planning. But again, that's what's also great about this movie. Okay, let's get... okay.
Yeah.
So
all
he
of this
explains
is
the story of those guys bringing back Motome's body. And I love the way that in that flashback story when Hanshiro's like, you sold your swords. Like, that's when he realizes that he sold everything. He's like, he sold his swords. And yeah, sorry.
Like, just that it's incredible. Like, he's like, I didn't even think. The thought didn't even cross my mind to sell mine. I clung to them. And this is where it got me. And just like, he's like slamming his swords against the floorboards by the body. And it's a really good performance. Like, it's devastating.
I want to pull up, what's the actor's name?
The actor's name is Tatsuya Nakadai.
Okay. Yeah. Really great.
Yeah, he's incredible. He's also the warlord in Ran.
Oh, nice. I gotta watch Ran.
Gotta watch Ran.
Maybe Will come on to talk about
maybe
Ran.
Will will come on to do Ran.
Kingo dies.
Yeah.
Miho dies.
Yep.
And basically it becomes a revenge story that's already happened.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's Hanshiro being like, yeah, so I lost everything. And then I came after your fucking dudes, man.
Yep.
Like,
yeah.
Right?
It's like this. Yeah. And he because does he end with this, or does he lead up to, because his whole thrust is that he's like, I came here to just see if you would admit that you went too far. He's like, I get it. I understand that something had to happen. I'm not condoning that Motome tried to game your system. All I'm asking is for you to admit that your dogmatic, like, worship of honor took you too far. I think that would put his soul at peace. I'm not asking you to admit guilt. I'm not asking you to give me some kind of recompense. I just want you to say out loud that you went a little too far. And they won't do it. Yeah. And I think that's first, because I think then he's like, okay, fine. And he reaches into his kimono and he pulls out top knots. Yeah. And he's like, don't worry. He's like, because he tosses out 2 of them. And he's like, don't worry. I only took their top knots, not their lives. Yeah. And so you're just like waiting, and we get, dude, just the coolest anybody has ever looked, with his goddamn straw hat like pulled down and like the shadows cutting across his eyes, just stalking these dudes. Rad as hell.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
because he follows one guy down through the market.
Sorry, real quick, to backtrack, but not to backtrack.
Yes.
Is Hanshiro asks Saito if he has any statement of, he's like, do you regret what you did, Motome? And he explains that, like, hey, if you say so, I will die without saying another word. Like, that's the other part of it, right? Is he's like, I will do this if you admit that you went too far. And Saito refuses, and he's like, Motome was an extortionist. He deserved to die.
Yeah.
And then he's like, okay. But also he says the samurai moral code, like the Bushido, is a facade.
Yes.
And then he throws out the 2 top knots. But yes, so then he's doing, he's tracking these guys down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so the first 2 happen.
Yep.
And by this time,
Hikakuro's
heard what's happened, and he shows up.
He comes to his house, to Hanshiro's house, Yeah, man, this is a great movie. Sorry, I'm like reading back over the summary. I'm like, I should rewatch this.
It's a movie. Because for context, like cutting off a top knot is worse than death for a samurai. It is not that it's not that you fell in combat. You were defeated and spared. And
which
that is
awesome because he is not only like Hanshiro as a character is criticizing their code. Yeah. While also defeating these men by using their code against them, basically, right? I'm not going to kill you because that's honorable for you. Yep. I'm going to dishonor you in your bullshit system of honor.
It's interesting too, because when he's leading up to talking about this, he's like, yeah, these are 3 of your greatest swordsmen. None of them have seen battle. I have. We live in peace times. And it's so interesting watching someone who experienced violence acting as a pacifist, because that ties back into Kobayashi. He was drafted into the Imperial Japanese Army in World War II, and he distinctly rejected the opportunity to become an officer. He was like, nope, I'm staying a private. I'm not, I don't want to be part of your clique. I don't want any part of this. And so, basically, he got stuck on, construction duty. Him and his unit, got sent to an island, building bridges and, eating dogs and snakes while they were there. They just, he didn't see combat, but they kind of made his life hell for it, right? Yeah. And it's just so interesting looking at that of somebody who is a veteran, someone who served in the army, portraying a character who is also a veteran who is refusing to take life. He's like, no, I'm not going to kill you. I am going to dishonor you because for you, that is worse than death.
Well, and also the notion that these samurai, despite being great swordsmen, hadn't seen combat. Yeah. Hadn't faced death or battle in that way. It's because we're in the moment that we're in our country, but it feels, and I'm not going to, but that's what ICE is, right? It's you are, and again, I'm not saying that therefore, whoops. Sorry, everybody.
All good.
That's my phone desperately trying to tell me to stop making the point I'm making. So I'm gonna stop because it doesn't actually translate. But it is yeah. Anyway,
there's something about it feels like their system of honor is stolen valor. They have a suit of samurai armor sitting in their castle. Yeah. That they basically worship. At a certain point, Saito goes to it and kind of prays. He's like, hey, ancestors, I'm going to do this and I'm doing this for your honor. And it's crazy because they hold up, we're the war clan. We are the militaristic ones. Yeah. And it's none of you have been in a battle. Yeah. Not a single one of you, but you act like you have that
you guys are security guards for hire.
Exactly. Yeah, you didn't get deployed. Sorry, guys.
Sorry, guys. And I'm not therefore saying that it's not, again, my point, but also the movie's point isn't therefore, well, the military has true honor. It's not that at all. It's just you guys are so bullshit.
You're cosplaying. You are pretending to be this thing. You're not.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's just a really fantastic point to be making in this way.
Yeah. I agree.
Just rocks. But then we get, so Hikokuro visits his hovel and challenges him to a duel.
And he's so cocky about it too, right? He's like, you won't be coming back here. I'll feel bad for your landlord, so just leave a note telling him you're dead. This is where to find your body. Yep. That's just for the sake of other people, just leave a note,
They're so condescending.
They
suck so bad.
Yeah. And then this duel, man.
This is where they go to the field.
Yeah. It just, and it opens, and it again, what I talked about at the beginning of this, of it playing with mythic imagery. It feels like they are walking into a painting, because they go out from the city and he's following him, and they go through like this grove of trees on a cobble path. They walk through a cemetery. Like there's all these shrines, and they're walking in amongst them. And then they just get on this hill that just looks like nowhere. Like there's no identifying features whatsoever. It's just rolling hills of grass and weeds and stormy clouds up in the sky. And the wind is like rushing past them. And it just feels like we're suddenly in just a painting. Like it feels like now we are in like a samurai myth in the rest of the way that the movie isn't shot, which I find so interesting.
Yeah. I mean, it is. I mean, that when the camera pushing through the grove of trees is so simple of emotion, but just really got me. Like I was just like, oh, this looks so good. Like,
I also want to call out the snap zooms in this movie.
Yes.
Good snap zooms in this.
Really great.
I couldn't corroborate this anywhere other than like some guy's film blog. So take this with a grain of salt.
Okay. But
he talks about how he's talking about this duel, and he mentions that although it is reported that Nakadai was terrified since Kobayashi insisted on using real, fully sharpened swords in the fight sequences, this practice was finally outlawed in Japanese film business in the 1970s.
Whoa.
I haven't been able to corroborate that anywhere else, but like I just find that an interesting thought of just like, particularly at the climax of the movie, just his frantic flailing. It's like, yeah, there's not a lot of acting going on there. That's just a lot of, oh man, I am in danger.
Surely there's enough there for me to be like, maybe.
See, the fact, like them mentioning that like it was outlawed by Japanese law in the 70s, I'm like, that detail feels specific to me, but I didn't have time to like dig into the research on that. Well, so grain of salt with
there's
that.
A fun little maybe fun fact or maybe a fun myth for everybody.
Yep. But this scene, like it's something that I get so bummed about with a lot of modern day fight choreography. And like, we're kind of having like a renaissance of fight choreography right now, in particular, like the way it's filmed, you know, like giving us these really great wides, letting us see all the action. However, I was just thinking the whole time while I'm watching this clip is I'm so invested. I'm like on the edge of my seat. And I had a thought in the back of my head. I said, if I showed this to my students, half of them would say this is boring because nothing's happening. Like they're moving very slowly, and it's a lot of buildup, and nothing is happening.
Do you know what when I was watching it, I was like, oh, this is the thing that people complain about with like the lightsaber battle in A New Hope, like in Star Wars.
Yeah.
But I'm like, well, that's what he's doing. Lucas is doing a samurai battle. Yeah. Which looks like this.
Well, I remember, you know, tying it to that conversation, I remember being in the online spaces. I didn't watch Rebels, but there was a fight between Maul and Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
That is like 3 moves and it's over.
Yep.
And a lot of people were really upset about that because it was such a build-up for these characters and decades long, and this was the final time, and Maul was finally actually dead. And you watch it and you're like, it's a samurai movie, guys. Like,
yeah.
Like, that is so fully what this is. And this feels so to that of, like, not a lot is happening with the choreography, but I was just on the edge of my seat the entire time. Despite knowing the fact that, like, he's going to make it out of this, that Hanshiro isn't going to die because he's telling the story, right? But even then, I'm still invested.
Yeah.
Which is just a testament to the filmmaking, I think.
Absolutely. I was going to say exactly those words. You took them out of my mouth. Wow. Give them back. You
can say it now.
No. Okay, thank you. It's a real testament to the filmmaking.
There you go.
And then he drops,
because that cut is so good. Of he swings his sword, and we don't see what happens, but we hear like an impact, and then it cuts back to the courtyard. And I can't remember what he says, but you're like, oh yeah, no, he totally killed that guy.
Yeah, which also I thought was interesting because when they cut off Motome's head in his story, they do that same trick of sword coming down, hearing an impact, but cutting on that.
Yeah.
And we don't see anything. So the film is almost implying like...
Yeah, it has established that vocabulary already.
Yeah.
And so for them to then reach in and toss one more top knot out is just...
At which point, all of the guys get their swords up and walk in on him.
Yeah, yeah, they're like, he's too dangerous to be kept alive. Yeah,
which is an incredible shot of just this one guy kneeling on a mattress, and a bunch of guys with swords pointed at him, like they feel threatened by this man.
Yeah,
right.
And so he gives them one last out where he just belittles them, and he's like, "You and your stupid honor, like none of this means anything." He's like, "All you had to do was accept Motome's request for a couple days respite. He would have come back because he had honor and you don't. Like, he would have done it. He just needed to get his affairs in order. But you didn't grant him that and instead forced him to do this awful, awful thing in an awful, awful way." And he just takes him to task. And so because of that, Sato is done. And he says, "You're crazy. You're a madman." He says, "Kill him. Cut him to pieces."
Everyone comes in on him. And what I find so interesting about this battle is that my modern film brain was like, he's going to take out all of them. Like, I wanted, that's like what my brain has been conditioned to think.
Sure.
Is like, he's going to be such a bad, he's going to take all of them down. Yeah, it's going to be John Wick, right? But he only kills 4.
Yeah.
And it's played very realistically. He's taking hits and slowing down the entire time.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I mean, he's doing well. Like, he's fending guys off.
Totally.
But it's, it's like
realistic.
20 guys
it's not,
versus him.
Yeah, like, again.
It's not the big action set piece that you're modern. Because, like, the movie up to this point feels, again, like I said, quite modern to me.
Yeah.
And then still, but even then, I'm like, it's not just a decision of the time. It's an active decision that Hanshiro only kills 4, wounds 8, but like smears blood on the wall.
Yeah.
And ultimately, I mean, his ultimate victory is that he gets through. And I was like, he's going to kill Saito, like he's going to do something like that. But he just gets through to where their suit of armor is. And like throws it to he's holding it for a while, throws it to the ground. And is like basically forcing their hand because he's like, oh yeah, go ahead.
No, just it is so interesting, the symbolism and imagery of this scene, right? Is that, like you talk about, he's smearing blood on the wall as he passes. Like, his impact is felt no matter what. And we get these wonderful series of shots afterwards, which we'll talk about. But like, this scene specifically where he finds the suit of armor, he grabs it, he's holding it and like using his sword as a crutch. Like, it almost looks like he's trying to leave with it, right? And then they all surround him. And then 3 guys show up with rifles. The swords are gone. It's guns now. And he throws it over his head and he stands there and they just firing squad mow him down. And it's so interesting that this entire time, the EE clan has been going on and on and on about honor and swordsmanship and samurai code, and they use guns at the end.
Well, and tradition.
Yeah.
Because there's a moment where they're explaining how they, like, with seppuku, they're talking, I think it's to Motome, where they're like, there's these modern guys who don't do it classically. Yeah. They have the second do it before you're finished, or they'd have someone else do it.
They're like, there's not even a knife in the box. It's just something
they're like, you're gonna do it.
Yeah.
Like, we're traditional around here.
Right.
And so then at the end, guns.
Just to use guns feels so pointed against them. Of like, everything you do. It is hypocrisy.
Yeah.
Because you cannot defeat this guy in the traditional methods, so you have to use modern methods.
Right. Like, he's forcing them to admit, like, the combination of taking their suit of armor that they pray to, the samurai armor, and like smashing that into pieces.
Yeah.
While also forcing them to use guns to kill you. Is like, yeah, man, just annihilate Like, just show how full of shit these guys are.
Yeah, like just
on multiple levels, right?
Completely
Like
decimates their bedrock.
He's dismantled their system.
Yeah.
And this whole time Saito has been sitting in another room waiting for it to be over. Clearly, like, you know, he's kneeling on the ground. He's clearly just like waiting. He's not scared.
No.
He's not, you know,
well, he commits
shaken
seppuku
even
at the end. But like as they line up to shoot him, he takes his sword and he goes and he does it, and then they shoot him.
Right.
And it's like, okay, that was the thing, like, again, screenwriter brain, the whole time he keeps reiterating, he's like, I have no intention of leaving here without doing this to myself. And I was like, okay, are we going to pay that off? And I was like, yeah, and he did it. Like, he did he did everything he intended to do when he walked through that door. Dismantle the system, commit seppuku, be done, you know?
Yeah, he did.
And so, despite him dying, it's such a victory.
It is. It absolutely is.
Yeah.
Because he did everything he went in there to do.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm going to tell my story. I'm going to show how full of shit they are. I think he improvised the armor bit.
Sure. Yeah. I don't think that was
pretty. But he's like, this is actually a great visual metaphor for what I'm trying to do.
Yeah, and he said that, which is crazy.
He's like, wow. Wow, this is exactly what I'm trying to do. So this is great, actually.
Yeah.
Thanks for pushing me into the visual metaphor room, you guys. And guns. I mean, you guys are really proving my point. He's saying all of this.
Yes.
It's you know, why make fun of a good movie? I don't know why I'm riffing on this. But Saito, I think, is so interesting.
Yeah.
Because basically the messenger goes to him. The messenger's like, I just talked to the third guy.
Yeah.
Doesn't he come back and he's like, I just talked to the third guy.
Yeah, talk to the third guy. Yeah.
You know, he's also sick or whatever.
Yeah. And he's like, go back and make them kill themselves right now. Like, I never want to see those three again.
And then basically they're like, yeah, and he, you know.
What were the losses? And they said he killed 4 people.
Yeah, they give him the losses, and he goes.
Critically injured 8.
Yes, and he's like, all those guys died of illness.
Yeah.
All of those guys died of illness.
Yep. He's like, they died of illness. Hanshiro came, he committed seppuku. It was glorious. Like, we gave him all of the proper rights.
And then like 12 guys got 15 guys got sick
really
and died.
Sick.
But like, that's why my review of this movie was just a link to the Frakes video of it never happened. It's fiction.
Yeah. And he's saying, like, and so he says that's what's going to happen. And then we get this great montage of everything being cleaned up. And the first shot is it pans across this devastated courtyard, and it lands on the mat where Hanshiro was sitting, and there's like the spear where he was sitting is like lodged in. And we see a hand come in and grab it. And for half a second, I was like, is Hanshiro's ghost going to kill Saito? Like, are we... Because, like, the way that it's shot, we never see faces. It's just hands. And so I'm like, is there more? Or do we have one more thing coming? It doesn't happen, but...
No, this is once again an entry into the canon of movie that could be a ghost movie. It's okay that it's not, but imagine if it was a ghost movie.
Could be a great ghost movie. But we get this voiceover read from the official records of... This is what happened. He came, committed seppuku. It was glorious. Gave him all the proper rights. And you're just seeing this overlaid images of the stains he's left on this house. Yeah. Just all of the physical manifestation of the way he has completely dismantled their ideology. And they'll try and hide it. They'll try and clean up the walls. They'll try and put the samurai armor back together. But that deep in his core, Saito specifically is altered completely by this situation, right? Yeah. It's just... Yeah.
But the last little beats of this are the shogun praises the house of Iyi, and they're, how it's you guys are true examples of Bushido. Yeah. And they scrub the blood from the ground and sever top knot, puts in the work bucket.
Yep.
Great movie.
Great movie.
great movie. I'm glad it's number 1 on Letterboxd, Parker, because it got me to watch it.
Yes, I'm so glad I've seen this. So I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Why is this 4.5 for you?
Again, that might change on a rewatch.
Sure.
But we often talk about how that extra 4.5 is the point of, I really emotionally connected with this. Yeah. I really was emotionally struck by this in some way. Mm-hmm. And it's hard for a movie, if I don't feel that, to reach 5 stars for me.
Especially on the first watch. Yeah. Especially on the first watch.
So I think that's basically it for me. Yeah. I think the structure of this is so interesting and very engaging. Mm-hmm. I think it all works. I think it's really well made and really well executed. Mm-hmm. And done very well. It's very successful. It's 4.5 because it's like one of those perfect movies that I'm like, yeah, I liked it.
Yeah.
I'm not like, oh, I loved that. Like the more that we've talked about it, the more I'm like, I did really enjoy it.
Totally.
So I reserve the right for it to be a 5 at some point, or maybe not. Maybe it'll always stay at 4.5. But that by no means that I found any flaws in it.
Totally.
It's just, it didn't reach 5 stars for me. What about you?
Very similar stuff. And the reason I ask is because I thought this would be an interesting conversation to have on mic of, I think somewhere deep in my bones, I have a problem with a single movie being rated the greatest film of all time. I think there is something in my core of my essence.
What do you mean, Parker? It's not like we started a whole podcast for that reason.
I know. I was just watching this and I was like, this is a really good movie. And then I take a step back. I'm like, the number 1 narrative film of all time.
This is the greatest narrative film of all time?
It's the same thing. And I realized this after thinking about it, after watching the film. It's like, it's the same reason that like when people ask me my favorite movie of all time, I usually give them 3 because even though It's a Wonderful Life is so high up there, it feels wrong to just do 1. It feels too limiting. And I think that there's something in my psychology that rails against any movie that is like, well, this is the greatest film. It's like, yeah, it's one of, I think it's like really, really fantastic. And even now, like as we're talking about it, I'm having an even deeper appreciation about it, right? Like I didn't connect the gun thing until I said it out loud. And I was like, oh yeah, I didn't even think about that. But wow, look at that. Like,
yeah.
And so it is such a great movie. And I think my 4.5 has so much more to do with my internal machinations. And it's not the film's fault. It's not fucking Kobayashi's fault. It has nothing to do with them. It's just the letterbox of it all where I'm like, the greatest film, the number 1? Are we sure, guys?
This is an interesting... This is the first time... No, it's not. This is like the second time that we've covered a movie that is considered the greatest film of all time on any of the lists, correct?
Third. Because Citizen Kane, Jean Diamant, and this.
Oh, yeah, Jean Diamant. Yeah. But, you're right.
But the point still stands.
Well, I was just going to say, I mean, like, Citizen Kane, as it stands now, is no longer considered the greatest film of all time. I was thinking that Vertigo... But that's number 2.
Oh, yes.
But you're
yes, yeah. I understand.
Yeah, because it's Jean Diamant's number 1. Mm-hmm. Is the greatest film of all time.
Yes.
Which honestly which might be Gendelman. I don't know. Who's to say? I'm just gonna keep bringing that up because I'm really worried that someone's gonna get mad at me at some point because I might have had it wrong this whole time.
Hey, I've been trusting you on blind faith.
I'm sorry. Parker's going to come back and be like, your system's bullshit, you're a facade. And I go, I know. What if Saito had just been like, I know, man, but I'm stuck in this, man. I don't want to be unemployed like you, man. I don't want to be unemployed. What this movie doesn't do is explain how we're all part of the system, baby.
Maybe.
Just kidding.
I think this movie would have been 5 stars if at some point somebody said we live in a society. I think that really would have taken it over the top for me.
If Saito had been like, well, actually, have you considered that all of society's a facade? And then they just like
5
smoke
stars.
together, like, whoa, dude, whoa.
Anyway, you were
Pulp
making
Fiction,
a very
and there's
good
a
point.
Pulp Fiction poster in the dorm room. Anyway.
What was this point you were trying to make about
hang on, I got another bit to do. Me breaking into like a film bro's dorm room and tearing down his Pulp Fiction poster, Godfather poster, because I'm like, this is your samurai armor.
Facade.
Then he shoots me with a gun. No, I can't joke about that. Greatest film of all time.
Mm-hmm.
We've covered of this whole show.
Yeah.
Citizen Kane, Vertigo, Jean Diamond, Harakiri.
Yeah.
Are the 4 that we've covered that are considered potentially the greatest film of all time, right?
We'll get to Shawshank, I'm sure.
We'll get to Shawshank. We'll get to The Godfather Part 2 at some point. 2001, of course, is on the Sight and Sound directors list is number 1. We covered that already. So, okay, we've got a good amount here.
Yeah.
I think I agree with you. Like, looking at all of those, I'm like, of those, Jean Diamant, I'm like, that's a movie that is not for me.
Yeah.
And is so not for me. At the time I watched it, I've really come around on Ackerman's style with News from Home I loved. But like that movie just was so outside my wheelhouse that I was like, it might be.
Yeah.
For
the sake of me not being educated enough to tell you, it might be. Like, I don't actually know.
This might actually be. Like, my review was like, in a sense, this is the purest form of film, I guess.
Sure.
You know, like I was so kind of stunned by what it was doing that I was like, dude, maybe.
Mm.
Maybe that's how the Sight and Sound went. Maybe that's what all the critics did. They were like, oh.
Yeah, I believe that.
Everyone who was like, it's not for me was like, oh, but it might be.
But it might be.
Because it genuinely might be.
Yeah.
And like 2001, not for me.
Yeah.
That might be the greatest directed movie.
Sure.
Right? Like I can see all these conversations. Mm-hmm. And I can also see that, you know, Harakiri is probably also in that conversation.
Absolutely.
Like, I'm fine with it being in the conversation. Right?
I'm glad you brought this up because I don't want it to sound like I'm sitting here and be like, really, this is considered the number? Because it's great. It's a great, like, I can see why it's the argument. I think I'm just finding within myself, I have,
no, of course.
Like, I have like a full like, value-based friction point against any one film being called the greatest film of all time. You know?
Right. Which is a great thing to realize almost 80 episodes into the show.
Yeah, I think this can be it, guys. I think we can be done now. I think I've had my character arc. I've found something within myself.
Next time I'm actually going to come in with an updated intro that's like you won't be the one saying a reasonable contender for the title of greatest film of all time, because you consciously object to that term. You're like, that doesn't exist. So I was right.
Conscientious objector to this podcast.
You're like, I just don't agree with like the general philosophy that there could be a film. But in this way, Parker, I guess you really do agree with my intro in which I parodied a line from this film when I said, this thing we call greatest film of all time is ultimately nothing but a facade.
Yes, I agree wholeheartely.
That's Parker's conclusion. Let's talk about criteria.
Yes.
Well, okay, go ahead.
The final word I will say on this is that, you know, that is the ethos of the show. Like, truly, I think you could argue that the entire thesis statement of this show is, hey, maybe things shouldn't just be the greatest film of all time. Maybe there's a lot of really great films, and we can share the load, you know? And
we can talk about them as potentially you are the greatest film of all time.
Of course.
Now, within reason. Again, I don't think we should have watched, you know, The Greatest Showman or Van Helsing and been like, let's genuinely consider whether this is the... We don't need to do that. But with Harakiri, absolutely. This should be in the conversation. I'm thrilled that we watched it.
Yeah, really.
And then we brought it to the show. Because
it
initially wasn't on the schedule for this year.
Yeah.
And then I saw that you would put it off to the side of like, I'd like to get to this.
Yes.
And I was like, okay, we can drop Star Wars. Let's do this. You know, or whatever we ended up dropping. Yeah. Yeah, we're not doing Star Wars, guys. Sorry.
Never.
We're never doing it.
We hate Star Wars.
Unfortunately, I did have, because I got Twitter in my head, you know, when we started talking about Rebels.
Yeah.
My brain was like, someone out there's like, oh, film guys, they have to, white guys, they have to relate this to Star Wars. And I go, oh, okay.
There's a direct line. I don't know what to tell you. Like,
I know, there literally is.
Yeah.
Our point stands.
Yep. Criteria.
But criteria. Historical and technical relevance. Ooh.
It is tough to suss out. Like, truly, it
really is.
Like, cultural relevance, we touched on it already. It is the Letterboxd #1 film right now. I need to, like, I couldn't find anywhere. I wish people would catalog, and maybe somebody has, like, what has been in that top slot, because it's moved.
Yeah.
Several times. It was Parasite at one point. It was 12 Angry Men at some point.
It was Come and See at some point,
It was Come
too.
and See at some point, too. And so I'm curious to know, like, which ones have been in there and which haven't. Outside of that, though, like, and I want to say this with a grain of salt, that obviously our breadth and depth of film knowledge is not the end-all, be-all of what is culturally or historically relevant. However, I do think it says a lot for two guys who are very plugged into this, have done a lot of reading and a lot of schooling in this, that, like, we were not familiar with this film or really with Kobayashi's work as a whole, right?
Yeah.
Which has nothing to say about the value of his filmmaking, but does have something to say about this criteria point of...
Yeah, like, it goes to Kane.
Yeah, it goes to Kane.
Yeah. Of the two greatest films of all time, Kane is the one that we know to have made a huge impact.
Mm-hmm.
Again, right into the email that doesn't exist. If you are like, actually, which maybe it did.
Maybe.
Okay, how well do you think it's doing what it's trying to do?
Flawlessly. Like, if
I
this
don't
is,
think...
like, if, as he says at the top of this, I am critical of authoritarian power. In Harakiri, it was feudalism. Like, congrats.
Yeah.
Cash that check, man. You did it. Like,
God, I want a t-shirt that says that. I am critical of authoritarian power.
Yeah. It's...
Yeah, just like a white shirt, black text, you know? Just
like, to the point that I know we were joking about it earlier, but, like, I think it's a valid thing to point out of, like, by the nature of the language of filmmaking, you and I initially were on the side of this system. And by the end of the movie, it completely has flipped us 100%. 180 the other direction of, like, oh, actually, this is all bullshit. Yeah. And I should have seen it was bullshit from the beginning, right?
I mean, all they really had to tell us is that a baby died.
That'll do it.
That a family was torn apart.
Yeah.
And you think that should be enough to make someone go, oh, this system sucks, actually.
You would think.
E Clan buys up a news aggregate and is like, we're going to start putting out our propaganda. This family this family all committed seppuku, and they all had an illness, actually. So.
Yep. Don't worry about it.
Even the baby. Even the baby was ill. And he was. That's actually true. They walked their way into truth.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I can't disagree, Parker. This is doing what it's trying to do very, very well.
Yep.
A good movie. Very successful in its criticisms. It's structured in such a way, again, it's engaging the entire time.
Yeah.
There's turns that aren't telegraphed. There's turns that don't feel forced. It's written very well. It's performed very well.
Yeah.
And its message rings to this day, right?
Yeah,
like
it hasn't
talk about a movie
a day.
Talk about a greatest film of all time that literally, you know, the message carries on. Yeah. And still hits and still comes across. You know, you talk about it ringing true for Japanese audiences in the 50s and 60s because corporatism had become, you know, a new feudalism.
Yeah. We
can relate to that.
Yeah.
We can absolutely relate to that.
And I think that something to be said in this regard, like, absolutely, first off, just want to plus your point, because I was thinking about my point and didn't give you the proper that, yes, absolutely, we can relate to that, and it sucks.
It's truly... I think about it all the time, really quick. It's the Mulaney bit where he's like, you know, when you're talking to someone and they're saying something, but in your head you're just going, "Ooh, it's my turn next."
Yes, happens to me all the time.
Really taps into a human experience that I think we don't talk about enough.
Yep,
it's just you're listening to someone talk, and you are listening, but you're also like, "Oh, what am I going to say?" Yep. Oh, you know. Okay.
Yep.
Now say your point.
So I was listening, and you made a good point, and I wanted to make sure you made it. I wanted to say
Thank you.
But I think that it is telling that a film that is like 60 years removed from an entirely different culture, an entirely different language than your and I's native language and our personal experience within life, that message can come through so clearly and distinctly and be so applicable is a huge boon in this movie's favor. And like, to your point of talking about how it maintains and it still rings true today, I think that absolutely is something that helps give it the leg up on Kane, because I think some of Kane's criticisms have been a bit diluted without the historical context of where they came from. Whereas
which is something we've talked about a lot before.
Right, yeah.
Like, we don't talk about Kane in the right way, and it's something that we tend to kind of hold against Kane.
Yeah. Is
like, your messaging has been diluted by almost just your legacy.
Yeah, kind of.
Right, it's again to our friend of the show Brogan's point of like, we don't talk about Kane in the right way because it has almost been entirely enveloped by that.
Yeah.
By that legacy, by the notion of greatest film of all time. That being said, I still think we can stand by our point that Kane's message is just a little lost generally, because the relatability and the relevancy is still there. You know, people watch Kane and they go, wow, Elon Musk, wow, Donald Trump, they do that. But like, yeah, I mean, now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, yeah, I guess people still do connect with it and get it on that level. But like, this movie doesn't require a more solid historical context and historical knowledge to know fully what it's playing off of.
I think it has a stronger universality to it.
Yes, there we go. Thank you. Mm-hmm. Thank you. Let's leave it at that. I don't need to ramble on and risk sounding like I'm making a bad criticism. Okay.
Nah, you're good.
Do you like it? Do you like this movie?
Quite a bit. Like, genuinely, like, really enjoyed it, and enjoy it even more after discussing it and like diving into it and be like, oh yeah, there's even more here than like I was consciously thinking about on the watch.
So has it made the fabled Parker's to buy Criterion list?
Oh yeah, it went on the list the second I was done. Yeah.
Now that's a good movie.
That's high praise. Ignore my rating. Did it make it on my gotta buy list? And it did.
Gotta own this thing. Mm-hmm. Good movie. Taking a step back.
Yeah.
We gave 1 point to Kane?
Yes, 1 point to Kane, 2 points to Harakiri. So Criteria says yes. Taking a step back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah.
I think the Letterboxd users got it right.
Yeah.
Which again, I guess their point is that Kane is not on the 250 at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I guess maybe I don't agree with that fully. That's why we're putting our list together.
Exactly.
Slowly but surely, one episode at a time. So, taking a step back it is. I'm going to let you say it.
Okay. Harakiri is better than Citizen Kane.
Fantastic.
I want you to ask me what we're doing next time. I'm gonna tee you up to tee me up.
Well, I'm gonna tee myself up to tee you up to tee.
Whoa!
Because I want to say, going from a movie that made Parker's to buy Criterion list, we're going to be talking about a movie that is on my I wish this was in the Criterion list.
Yeah.
Which I think you agree with me on.
I do.
Now, Parker, what is that movie?
Well, Max, I want to sit you down next time that we sit together. And I want to tell you that in the town where I was born lived a man who sailed the sea. Oh. And he told us of his life in a yellow submarine.
Oh.
We are taking a look at it. Yes, it's Ran. We're watching Ran.
No, sorry, I cut you off.
Next time,
that was a good intro.
We are checking out 1968's Yellow Submarine.
We're talking the Beatles.
We're talking the Beatles, baby. The Bop Tops, the Lads, the Fab Four.
Never heard of them.
Don't really care for them myself.
Who are those guys? No, overrated.
Yeah.
Did you know that? Did you know that John Lennon actually was kind of a bad guy?
Listen, they've had some banger headlines in their day, but like I think one of my favorites from The Onion is this is 20-something white man at party cannot wait to tell you that John Lennon actually beat his wife.
It's true, yeah. There's always that guy at a party.
Yeah.
I'm sure
Yellow
that'll
Submarine.
come up
Excited to take a look
Yellow
at it.
Submarine.
Yep. I love this movie.
I'm thrilled to revisit that.
Yep.
Yeah, it'll be good. I fully thought when you asked me to TO, I thought you were going to be like, good movie. Like, I thought you were going to do that random meme that we reference all the time.
Yeah.
That guy who dubbed the Beatles Crossing Abbey Road and having them go to the SpongeBob movie.
It's a great video.
We would be doing that if we were teeing up the SpongeBob movie.
Yes.
Obviously.
Surely.
All right. Yellow Submarine next time. We're staying in the 60s.
Yep.
But it's a very different 60s.
I agree.
Can't wait. Okay.
All right.
Well, thanks, everybody.
Thanks, folks. Take it easy.
Bye.
Bye.